And welcome to the SimmBros pod.
Yeah, episode 7.
Seven
man.
of them things.
Wow, crazy.
Can't believe it. I'm Chris.
Cam.
And together, we're the SimmBros.
And we're here to help you win your 20s. People.
Episode 7?
I think this just is like, gotta keep going. You gotta keep doing it.
And it's pretty crazy to see the difference of even episode 1 versus 7. And listen, we're way just getting started, right? Like we have so much to learn, but even watching us in episode 1 versus 7, like we were just talking about how I was always looking into the other screen.
The whole time I was like, wait, are you gonna look anywhere else?
Yeah.
I was so confused. Hey, that's just like with anything in life, right? You keep doing it, you get better at it, you kind of just like figure out where you need to improve. I think that's kind of like us right now in stretching. Pause.
Yeah.
Like stretching is the worst.
Yeah.
But you need to do it.
It's terrible.
But you get better at it every day.
It's terrible. I mean, I guess you might get better at it every day.
Yeah, you would think, you would hope.
Yeah, and I think that kind of goes back to saying, like, just you wish you started even earlier.
Yeah.
Right? Because you know how long it's going to take to get good at something.
You know, because you think about, like, the gym, right? Like, we started going to the gym, at least I remember really starting going to the gym sophomore year of high school.
Yeah. I think I was more junior year.
Yeah, I went with you a few times.
Yeah.
What, the old 24?
24?
Was it 24?
The Galleria?
Yeah, Galleria.
I was there a couple
top floor.
months ago. I saw it. We were at the Galleria.
Oh my God, top floor Galleria. I remember that. Crazy. Yeah, I remember think about that. For me, at least, sophomore year, so that's like 7 years of really going to the gym.
Yeah.
And like exercising. And like, I really haven't been stretching all my life.
I know.
All my life. And it's kind of catching up to me.
Oh,
right
it
now.
is. It is.
My
I mean, it's just and everything's so connected. It's always your back pain. If you have back pain, pretty much any pain is probably related to you not stretching and your muscles being tight.
Yeah, hips, knees.
Especially. My hips are so bad.
Quad,
you like tore your hip.
I don't even know. Yes. Dude. Oh, let me actually tell the story.
Yeah, great. Yeah, you should.
9th grade, man. Oh, first of all, what a day this was.
Oh, unbelievable day.
November 8th.
2016.
Yes, November 8th, 2016.
2016, which was the best year of our lives.
Yeah, besides this one moment.
Yeah.
But November 8th, 2016. And the reason why I remember the day, it was a Tuesday. Here's how this day went for me. I had braces at the time, and one of my braces got caught in my gum.
I didn't even know this.
And I was bleeding, and I was like, can this day get any worse?
Yeah, exactly. It's already bad.
Can this day get any worse? This sucks.
Come on.
This is terrible.
Yeah.
But then that same night was we had tryouts the week before for basketball to see what level you'd be on, varsity, JV, freshman, sophomore.
Hey, I was already good. Just letting you know.
Whatever. And
you know what team I was on.
The whole summer, the whole fall. This was for winter basketball. So the whole summer and the whole fall, I've been on JV. I actually played a little bit on varsity.
Yeah, we played one game together.
We did, which is really cool. No video evidence of it. By
I know. The one game we ever played.
First of all, shout out Herb on that game.
Yeah,
we played 4-on-5, and our coach almost subbed out.
Jack hates this story.
Our coach almost subbed out this guy because he was just bad.
No, yeah, like it's actually crazy. Anyone who knows basketball, like you obviously need 5 players to play, and this coach was so just upset at the situation that he was like, "I'll play with 4." Like
no, 3 because
Zach went the other way. Yeah, listen, that was a crazy. But the only game we ever played together.
Yes.
No video evidence.
No video evidence, which is thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad. But anyway, so whole summer I was practicing with JV and a little bit varsity. So when the time comes to like actually get selected to teams, I was like, okay, like this. I wasn't even sweating. Honestly.
You should be on JV.
Like not even close. I was not a fringe guy.
And you're also a sophomore, right?
No, I was a freshman.
Oh, you're a freshman. Okay.
But like it was,
yeah.
It like not many sophomores played that year, so JV was basically all freshmen.
Yep, exactly.
Either way, I was not a fringe guy. I was like pretty confident about it actually. So when the time comes and they start listing out all the names for the teams, listing out all the other guys for JV, and I was like, okay, I mean,
cool. Yeah.
My last name's Simmons. Maybe they're going alphabetical order. I'm just thinking like, okay, well, Walker. Well, either way, they don't call my name. But then the coach is like, "Oh wait, I'm missing one person." Which I was like, "Oh yeah, thank God."
And
me.
Everybody on the other team was saying like,
no, and a guy I never forget, a guy who was already selected to JV told the coach, "Yeah, dude, Cam's right there." Like, yeah, you forgot Cam. And the coach is like, nah, not him. Not Cam. There's a guy practicing with varsity who had to come down.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And I was like, wow, like that cemented it really. But honestly, like I was annoyed. I was frustrated. All my friends were on JV, all my closest friends at least. So in my head, I was like, you know what? Whatever. Like they're gonna do this to me. They're gonna do this to me. I'm gonna get them back in
I'm gonna
blood.
show them what they're missing out.
I'm gonna get them back for real, bro. I'm not even joking. 2 minutes into practicing with the freshman sophomore team, I go up for a layup. And I've done it a million times before. And it literally felt like somebody elbowed me as hard as they possibly could in my hip.
Dang.
Like, like the guy guarding me, I was on the ground. I was like, why did you elbow me?
Yeah.
Why did you elbow me? Because it was hard.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, I didn't touch you. Wow. And I looked at the coach. Coach was like, yeah, he was nowhere near you. And I was like, oh, no. Because that means it was a non-contact injury.
Yeah.
That means it's really bad.
Yeah.
I try to get up, try to start walking. Nope.
Damn, it was that
No, nothing.
Wow.
No, I couldn't put any weight on it. Like literally none.
Yeah.
I got basically stretchered to the.
Did the cart come over?
Yeah, the cart came over. I got carted off. I got carted off in blue tent. Our trainer, who's great, man. Shout out to Drew. Drew Kemp, man. So I'm in the training room, kind of just like trying to figure out what happened.
And this is like your first major injury.
First major, first even minor injury.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to figure out what happened. Like I just got put on freshman sophomore, which I was not expecting at all. Frosh off, and I think I like broke my hip or something. Like
and your braces.
and my braces. I'm like I can't walk.
Yep.
What is going on?
Yep.
So I was just trying to figure that out. Like kind of in shock a little bit.
Yeah.
Instead of like doing tests and stuff, and I'm like, I'm in so much pain.
Yeah, you couldn't move. And I remember,
move.
so we practice in different areas when you're on varsity versus the other teams. So I was somewhere else, and then like the practice is pretty much ending, and then Drew, who Cam saw in the training room, comes up and is like, you need you to come downstairs. Why? I'm not hurt. Like, what's going on? He's like, yeah, your brother's down here and he can't move. I'm like, he can't move. Like, what do you mean he can't move? Like, lock in, you know? Lock in.
I'm with you. I agree. I really couldn't.
So I go down there, and he's just, like, legs sprawled out on this trading table with, like, crutches on the side.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what happened? Like, let's go. Like, get up. It's time to go. Right? Because, and also this is the thing, both our parents were working at the time.
Yep.
So we had no, like, car to get home.
Yeah, we were pretty close.
We lived close to school, so we just walk back.
No problem.
Like, no problem in a regular situation. But I was like, okay, go, get up. Like, it's time to walk home. And, like, I see Cam pick up the crutches. Like, whoa, the crutches, bro. So I was like, what happened to you? He's like, bro, I don't even know.
What I think happened, because throughout that week, and this kind of goes back to stretching. Yeah. Throughout that week,
no, it does.
I kind of felt a little thing in my hip.
Interesting.
Like it was a little tightness.
Yeah.
But I was like, dude, this is nothing. Like I'm in no pain, not significant, but I definitely felt a little something. And then I guess it just popped. Like when they said that the muscle came off the bone. I
hate those.
And it wasn't a you good?
I hate hearing injuries.
No, but it wasn't like a slow. It was a pop. It literally, because I don't know if you know, like Achilles people, they always look behind and say, who stepped on my foot?
I think someone kicked them.
Yeah,
right?
or like who stepped on my foot?
Yeah,
like, it's weird. It literally felt like that. It felt like somebody elbowed me.
Wow.
As I was going for lip, and just the muscle just popped off the bone.
Gotta stay stretching. I mean, when you're so young, you don't even think
it doesn't even matter. Yeah.
But like it's everything. It's the compound effect. When you don't do it often, then your muscles become tight, and then moving forward from there. But I just remember, like, we had to leave. We had to call an Uber outside the school, and, like, we had to get an Uber Select or whatever because you couldn't fit in, like, an X, and I was trying to, like, navigate putting these long crutches into the back of the seat.
God.
I actually remember that vividly.
Yeah, like, another thing, so here's where some controversy started. People thought I was faking the injury.
Yeah, because you're on
because I was on the front sub team.
Bro, get up, dude.
Yeah, they're like, come on, like you gonna do this now? Because here's another thing. The trainers told me like not to do the typical crutch where I keep my leg elevated and hop on one foot because that would actually put more strain on my hip.
Crazy.
So they told me to walk. They actually told me to walk with just like support with the crutches. So everybody was like, dude, you're not even using the crutches right. I'm like, no, wait, they told me this.
Yeah, bro. I'm trying. Like, I swear I'm hurt. I swear I'm hurt.
I'm not that type of guy who's gonna fake an injury.
I think this is funny because now like our perspectives on injuries. Like I think I've told you a couple times in my life where I've either played through injuries or
he's an idiot.
Faked doctor's notes.
Yes.
Like I can say this now. In high school, I think I
forgery, man.
I had a very badly sprayed MCL. I was standing up straight with my leg, and then someone dove into my knee as I was shooting. Made the shot, I'm pretty sure, but like it was hurt, and I was still like playing throughout the game, right? I was still playing throughout the game, and I was like, this is not, because usually I'm like, okay, I'll get better, real quick. Like, you just gotta like walk it off, and it was not feeling great. So like, I ended up playing the rest of the game, and then I ended up going to like this like arcade after and like moving around. And I was like, bro, I can't walk. Like my knee is so bad.
It was laser tag, right?
Yeah, laser tag. Yeah. Oh, you remember?
I remember.
It was in Vegas. Right?
You went with San Diego.
Okay,
you went with the team.
Yeah, I went with the team. Yeah, because I didn't want to miss out. I never want people to think I'm hurt. So I go through that, and then like I'm like, okay, I can't really play. So I sit out the rest of the next 2 games of the tournament. I go to the doctor, and they're like, yeah, MCL sprain, like 2 to 3 months or like 2 months probably, and like that's gonna be the whole season. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to take at least the like month off that I need and start rehabbing. And I wanted to get back before the end of the season because I wanted to play, obviously. And it gets to the point where like I'm going through rehab and it's not going as fast as I'd like. And I'm just like, how'd I got to figure this out?
Oh
right?
my God.
And the only way you would come back, I kept telling my coach, can I come back to practice? I kept telling Drew, can I come back to practice? And Drew's like, no, you need a doctor's note. You need a doctor's note. So it was like the doctor was not going to clear me until I was ready. But what happened was he gave me this form. He gave me this form. It was like, I think I was 2 weeks out from being medically cleared. He gave me this form that said like 2 weeks away, and it was a check mark next to it. And there was also one that said cleared, right? So there were 2 options you could check. You could check cleared or like 2 weeks away, however long away. He sent it to me like as a paper, but then also gave it to me as a PDF to my email or whatever. And at this point, there was just the start of PDF editors, right? Wow. So you could edit PDFs for free. Now it would probably cost, I don't know how much in Photoshop, or maybe you can do it with AI. I don't know. So I was just thinking, how am I going to get out of this quicker, right? And it's probably not the best decision. So I uploaded the PDF to a PDF editor, and I unchecked the like 2 weeks away box, and I checked the cleared box. Gave it to Drew, and he's like, okay, cool. So that's why I had to play with like a big knee brace on my knee for like 2 weeks. Because I was also super scared that I was going to hurt myself more, but I was also like, let me get out there. That's just one example. Remember the one in baseball when I was pitching and I kept like moving my leg?
Oh my God.
My hamstring was hurt.
You kept like adjusting your cup or something.
No, I was hurt.
Yeah, no, I don't know how old I was. I was maybe like 7 or 8, but I remember I was like, what is he doing? And everybody in the stands, I was in the stands, just like, what's he doing? Like, did he like pee himself or something? He kept like adjusting like his cup and like, so what happened there? What was that?
To be honest, I don't really know what actually happened, but I know my hamstring was hurt. Like I used to have bad hamstrings when I was playing baseball.
Yeah.
Probably because I didn't stretch.
There you go. Here we go.
But again, I'm 7, 8 years old. But I was like, it's my start day, right? Like I'm pitching. I'm not missing that. I'm not missing that. So I was just like, let me just like gut through it. But like my hamstrings, I called them like the strings. They were hurting so much. So I was like trying to stretch them out after every pitch.
That's what
that's why it looked like the cup, but I was kind of just like moving my leg. But it looked like I was adjusting something near my groin area. No one knew what it was, but safe to say I didn't have a good outing that outing. So, and then I took a couple weeks off.
That was
bad. I'm not really good at sitting down, as you can tell, like relaxing or at least like taking time off when I know I need to take time off.
Yeah.
Because I just want to keep going. I'm not good with injuries. So try to make sure I stretch every day now and keep those injuries away.
I mean, what? Goggins stretches 2 hours a day?
Okay, so listen, let's talk about that. Okay. Stretching 2 hours. So I love David Goggins. He actually inspired me to run my first marathon and then my second, which we'll talk about more running we're doing later. But
who's going to carry the books?
How do you, he says he stretches for 2 hours a day and meditates 2 hours a day. And then he also runs 200 miles a week. How is that possible? It can't be. At some point, you are lying about something.
Maybe they did 2 hours.
Meditate for 2 hours.
Maybe his meditation is the stretching.
I mean, maybe, but he always makes it seem like he does it 2 separate times.
I don't know. He doesn't have a 9 to 5.
I mean, that's true.
And he probably doesn't sleep for 8 hours a day.
Fair enough. Okay. So
I'm just saying, it's probably, look, you prioritize sleep, people. But yeah, stretch when you can, meditate while you can. I don't know. I don't have enough hours to do that. Do all that.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, do you think so? Do you think David Goggins is like a good motivation, or like, do you think he does a little too much?
It's a good question. You know, I think it really depends on the audience. If you, and it depends on who you are as a person, right? If you're willing to take advice, if you are okay with, you know, kind of being told, you need to be better at something.
Yeah.
I think it's actually really good motivation because he will not sugarcoat anything.
Nothing.
Anything. If you need to lose weight, he's gonna tell you need to lose weight. If you need to run more, he's gonna tell you need to run more, et cetera, et cetera. And for people who are willing to change and willing to listen to like all outside sources and like be able to distinguish what is best for them and what is not, I think that's actually when it's the most key, and that's actually how you should be.
Yeah.
You should always listen. You don't have to like, it's not whatever everybody says is not the gospel, right? You don't have to believe it word for word, but you should listen. And I think the people who do listen, that's great for them. If maybe, you know, you're maybe at more beginning stages of your journey, whatever that might be, probably will be falling upon deaf ears.
Yeah, I think it's twofold. I agree. I think you have to know the type of person. It says with any coach too. Some people, when you're coaching them, they're better at hard criticism. Some people, you know, you have to kind of sugarcoat or take them along. It's kind of like the example in basketball of like how all big men, you need to be like super nurturing. Like, hey guys, you guys are good. Let's go. It's okay. Shout out Aiden and shout out Charlie, because that's not what Aiden does with Charlie, but it actually helps him out.
Yeah.
Good times, funny times. But yeah, so like there's two different like schools of thought around that. And David Goggins is definitely more on the like, I'm going to tell you how it is, and it's not going to be pretty, but also at the same time, like the only reason why I'm telling you that is because I love you, and it's because I know that you can be better.
Yeah, and I think that's literally the definition of tough love. It's like what I'm saying is out of love.
Yeah.
There are people who are straight critical.
Yep.
Don't listen to those people because they don't want what's best for you.
Yep.
So people who actually give you tough love, it sucks to hear it sometimes, but those people actually want the best for you.
Yeah, and it's tough in the moment. Like they call it tough love. But also, right, if that's whether it's with your parents, like I know we've had a lot of hard conversations with our parents and even with coaches when I was young, right?
Yep.
It can be tense and it can be really bad in the moment, but it just takes you time to be like, hey, they're only pushing me because they know I can do this.
Yep.
And then it's like, if they're not pushing me, that means they don't believe, right? Like once the coach, like every coach I've had will be like, once I stop yelling at you, you never want that. You want me to yell at you because once I stop, that means I don't believe anymore.
Yeah.
That means I don't think you're going to change. And that means I don't want to see you grow.
Yep. And
right?
It's all perspective. I mean, like we've all been in that situation where you hear like, you know, you get yelled at.
Yeah,
it's not
of course.
great. It never feels good.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, especially like the older you get, you realize you needed to hear it, and that they loved you at B, right?
Yeah, they wanted that.
They wanted you to perform to the best of your ability, and you weren't doing it.
Yeah.
In whatever situation, scenario that may be. Again, important to distinguish between that and criticism.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Goggins would ever like criticize.
yeah,
right?
I don't think it's criticism.
He always it's because he's done it.
I was about to say, yeah.
That's why.
No matter what, he's not telling you anything that he wouldn't do himself.
And that he hasn't done.
And he hasn't done.
He was what, 400 pounds? Doing like extermination at like fast food restaurants, and he became a Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
Can you think about that's not possible?
No, that's really
you don't
insane.
just even the greatest of the great don't become Navy SEAls. Like you see the videos on how to become a Navy SEAL.
That's just what we see.
Yeah, exactly. That's just what you see.
Crazy.
Great point. And so that's why he's like, look, if I've done it, I was in a worse spot than you are.
Worse, right.
And that's why he's like, if I've done it, you can do it.
You absolutely can.
Like, look where I came from. So like, and it's kind of like the same thing where sometimes it comes off as super negative or like kind of like he's harassing you, but it's like he's upset because if I started where he was thinking, if I started where you started, man, wonder where I would be.
Yeah. Or how much quicker I'd get there.
Like, look at you. You're so way ahead of where I was. And look how long it took me to get to where I was now. If I was in your position, I'd be right there. It's kind of like sometimes when you're hooping and playing basketball and you have like a super tall guy who just sometimes has no hands or whatever, you're like, man, like imagine if I had that height, you know? Like sometimes you're like, imagine if I had that height.
Yep.
I didn't feel the same way. It's like, dude, you're tall for no reason. Like it's like, come on, man. I was playing with someone last
Yeah, but say you were hooping with somebody. I mean, he comes back home mad
I was playing with someone yesterday.
that
bro.
like there's this big who couldn't catch the
Yes.
ball.
So like I was playing with these two other guys and they're like, let's pick up this guy. And I could already see, I said it. I was like, I don't think he's going to be that good. They're like, he's tall, rebounds. No, bro, he can't catch, right? So we play and it's just like, dude, you're tall for no reason. He grabs rebounds with like short arms, layups. Like that's a whole different story. I was upset about it. But like, you know, that's where you look at like where Goggins is saying, hey, look where you are. Imagine if I started where you were. And it's me, it's like, hey, look how tall you are. I'd be in the league if I was your height.
Yeah, and here's the thing though. I think it also goes both ways, where it's like you also have to know that there are people who on the basketball court who probably would kill to be as tall as you are, even though you
as athletic as me
Yep.
or as fast as me.
Okay,
or
all right.
But yeah, so I think that also that point too is the perspective, right? And I think kind of what you're going through right now and just like kind of like thinking about how your career is going to look and all that kind of things, right? You just, you know, you want to make that next pivot or see where you're going on in life. And sometimes I told you this, I was like, do you imagine how many people wish they were in the position you are in right now?
Yeah, you know, it's true. It's true. You forget sometimes. It's always good to practice gratitude and like understand where you are right now is a place that somebody would kill to be in. And obviously keep your goals high, your dreams high, and keep reaching for those. But also know, like, you know, take a second to stop and smell the roses. Yeah. Like, you got here.
You came this far, right? I love doing the thing where it's like if you look at yourself a year before and you look at yourself now, like if you told yourself a year ago from now that you'd be where you are, I guarantee it's better than you ever could have expected.
100%.
Like, it really is.
100%.
And it's hard to think about that, but it is. I look back to me a year ago.
Yeah.
There's like, this is crazy that what we're doing right now. Personally,
I would have never even like thought about it. I would have, if I did think about it, I'd be like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Because I was so, you know, we're always so worried about other people. Man, other people, like, it's your life.
Yeah.
Where's the autonomy?
Yeah.
Like, and so I feel like a year ago, like you're saying, just kind of learning to just accept to be you.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters.
And accepting that where you are, if you're working on getting to another place, but like also, you know, you did this, you've come this far, right? You're a successful person right now. I know you want things to, you know, get better, right? And they obviously will. We're working to get that, but you've done so much already, and there's something to be proud of for that.
100%. Yeah, I completely agree. I know we've been talking about this a little bit about the importance of detaching yourself from the outcome.
Yeah.
Not being so worried about, you know, literally crossing the finish line
every single day.
Enjoying the process, enjoying the journey, because that at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. That's how you're going to get to the finish line faster and with a smile on your face.
No, exactly, right? It's detaching yourself from like the wins and losses.
Yeah. It's life.
Life is never, you know, for the people watching, life is never just like a straight trajectory up, right?
Never.
But the great part about life is that it will be up and down, right? It'll be mountains, but the trend line for anyone who's taken math will actually end up being that line, like up into the right, right?
Yes.
But it's never going to be fully just right?
No.
You're just going to end up going like straight into the right, but there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, but the average is always going to be continually getting upward. And that's why you need to detach yourself from the outcome, because anybody, literally even the most quote unquote successful person you've ever seen has had bad days, has had bad weeks, has had bad years.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is you gotta let the rain fall sometimes to let the flowers grow in the sunshine. Right? And so you need the rain. Yeah. You need the rain, you need the sun.
Yep.
That's how we grow. And it'll never be win after win after win after win. There's always going to be losses, heavy losses that are going to try to knock you off your path, but you're going to keep going.
Yeah.
And so I think that's just the biggest thing is just like take life as it comes.
Take it for what it is.
Yeah, take it for what it is. Don't be deterred. Don't also lose, you know, focus if you do get some big wins.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Yeah. You don't want to be, you know, I finished this, I got success. Great.
Now
Celebrate it for a second.
Yeah, I'm done.
For as long as you want, but also remember that success is fleeting, man.
Yes,
Especially like you see that a lot in the content creation business. Someone is super famous for a week. Talk to her. How long was she famous for?
She almost went to jail.
I know, and she couldn't even parlay her life.
Yeah,
like
success is fleeting. Failure is also fleeting. So also don't get too bogged down. When you're down, you're just gonna go right back up.
Yeah.
It's amazing because you know you can't go down any further. It's only up from here.
Yeah, I think that's super important and something we all need to understand, and we're all going to struggle with in our 20s probably more than most of our lives because we're trying to figure out like who we're going to be with, where we're going to live, our jobs, right? Like trying to find things, and you kind of see people who are going through it, who are people maybe getting married. You're like, damn, I really want to get married. People are doing this, running marathons. I really want to run a marathon, right? Like you start to get so worried about what other people are doing when you don't realize that you, the person who controls your own life, and you can actually do whatever you really want to, right? And the cliches of it all, like I used to be someone, and you used to make fun of me. Now you kind of get it more, where the cliches are actually true.
They really are.
Like they're cliches for a reason. Like it's always darkest before dawn. Like it actually is. Though,
all
right?
the stuff.
Like it is darkest before dawn.
But you have to understand, this guy was just talking in cliches, in like little bubble metaphors. It was so annoying.
What is true?
He would always say like, yeah, you got to keep going. Or
but you do though.
No, you do. Like the thing is, you're right.
Yeah.
You do have to keep going. It is always darkest before dawn. Life is a roller coaster, windy ocean.
Life's a highway, baby.
Yeah, I was driving all night long.
Yeah. Shout out Lightning McQueen.
Yeah, always shout out Lightning.
OG, that's the OG right
man,
there, bro.
Rascal Flatts, man, that's a banger.
That's a banger song. But yeah, detaching from the outcome. What do you think you're focusing on right now, where you're kind of detaching from the outcome?
Yeah, as people might know, Chris and I are running this SF marathon. Half marathon. Good point.
That's a big difference.
That's a 13-mile difference right there.
Exactly.
Half marathon coming up late July.
Yep.
I've never even, like before May, the longest I ever ran was probably about 5 miles at a very slow pace. So I knew that I actually really did have to up the training and really like kick it into high gear of like, okay, I need to be able to run 13 miles. But not like, one of the things about running is I think running is actually so symbolic of life. You can't sprint for long distances. And life is a long distance. You can't sprint the entire way because then you're going to run out of gas. So when you keep running, eventually you get better and you build your stamina, you build your gas, and you can actually run a lot faster than you could before when you were sprinting. And that's just kind of how practice goes. You got to keep going, got to keep doing it. So I think right now just been focusing on going at my own pace.
Yep.
And I've been seeing great results from it. I've been trying to speed up.
Yeah. You said you felt good yesterday after your run, right?
I felt really good. I really could have kept going, but I was like, training comes first.
Yeah.
Also, my feet, oh my God, my feet were killing me.
Yeah, you got that's always happens. I think for me, it was when I first started running distance, it was my ankles.
Oh.
Everybody has like their own thing. It was like my ankles and like my groin, but everybody has some. Bro, my groin was messed up.
Hurt,
I'm getting better now because I'm stretching and I'm doing more, functional movements in the gym. But yeah, I think detaching yourself from the outcome is important in that, right? Because you never know. You'll start seeing it.
Yeah.
Most of your runs will probably be like bad, right? When you're just starting,
most of
it's a lot better because you're kind of just figuring things out. But as you become more of a seasoned runner, a lot of your runs aren't really going to feel super good. You're gonna be like, that didn't really feel great. Yeah, but I just got to keep doing it because I know if I do this easy run at this pace, I will get better and be ready to run faster.
Literally, like, I tried to keep a certain steady pace. Yeah. And kind of as time went on, my body was naturally speeding up. And my heart rate wasn't speeding up, which I was like, this is literally what the runner's dream, right? Like, I literally see myself currently getting better at running. Yeah. And it's kind of
in the moment.
In the moment, it's beautiful to see. Like, this didn't happen yesterday. This didn't happen today. This happened over the course of months, years of practice and failure and anger. So that's just kind of another thing of just like, there's going to be such bad times doing anything. Keep going.
You want to know what the greatest feeling is as a runner? I don't know if you've had it. Runner's high. Have you ever had it before?
I do. I feel like I've had it one time.
It's the craziest. Yep. And I don't remember like the last time I've had it, but it's just like getting high. Like really is insane, right? I think it was super cool. And
can you describe what it is to people
be honest,
who've never experienced?
You really even can't. The best you can describe it is kind of like when you get really hot in basketball, it's like a flow state. You know, LeBron and people like LeBron talks about, I think it was the anniversary almost a year ago, or not a year ago, like to the date of his game 6 game versus the Celtics in Miami.
Yeah.
And he was like,
I'm not even above shoulder right.
He was like, he was just like, I was in a legit flow state. And Jalen and JJ Redick talked about it too, saying he was just in a flow state. Like, everything was going in. Bump fades. Like, Bron's like, I'm not even a bump shoulder fade guy. Like, it just goes in. Right?
It's kind of like your practice takes over.
Yeah.
You're not trying.
Yeah.
It's just happening.
It's just happening. And you're gliding.
Yeah.
There.
And it's perfect.
I think that's like the biggest. You look up and you look at your watch, like, I've already run this many miles. Like, it feels great.
Yeah.
Because usually it's like, oh my God, I got
here we go.
It's a slog, bro. Like, I can't listen to this podcast any longer. Like, I can't listen to Cam talk any longer. Right? But I think the super cool thing about Runners High, and that if you follow a lot of running creators out there, Andy Glaze is someone I like to follow and I see a lot. Like, he does 100-mile races all the time, and he was legit crying.
Yeah.
At like
it was emotional.
Miles in. He's like, dude, I don't even know why I'm crying. Like, I'm just so grateful I get to do this. I'm grateful I have a body that gets to do this because people don't.
No.
And that's like another example of running high. Sometimes you could be just crying randomly on a run, or you could just, it happens in all shapes and sizes, and it will happen in different ways to different people.
Yeah. No. Another thing about gratitude, man, just like appreciating I don't have to be out here.
No.
And like
you might not ever, like, people don't have the ability to be out there.
Exactly.
Physical.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why it's just all about gratitude, appreciating the moment.
Yep.
And another thing that I feel like I've gotten at least better with Runners High is running outside.
Yeah.
I used to run inside strictly treadmills, and I know sometimes running outside isn't applicable and isn't available to everybody.
Yeah. Late at night, things like that.
Yeah, and busy cities or either way. Running outside has been the key.
Yep.
Because you kind of get to see stuff, right? On here, over here, there's like a place where you can run and kind of see the planes land.
Yeah.
And it's just like you forget you're running. You're like, oh my God, there's people in that little flying metal bird.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of crazy. You kind of just get lost in it. Yeah. And you're like, oh, wow.
It makes the run go by faster. That's what I've always told people. Running outside is way better than running inside.
Yeah, agreed.
Right? Because, you can put your mind on something else.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. When you're running inside, you're kind of just looking at the treadmill. Oh, my God. Okay, 0.1 miles. I got 4 to go. Right? And I always make sure I try to do one treadmill run a week just to make sure I stay on pace for some things. Yeah. And also it helps with your mental at the same time. But I also think something that is really good too is running with people. I think once we either start to run more, once you find more people to run with, that was the one thing that got me through so much of my marathon training. If Odell's listening to this, I don't know if he is. He probably has his baby to deal with. Yeah, so I was I had 16 miles to do, and I didn't really want to do all 16 by myself because it's horrible. So I would run the first 4, and then I'd run 8 with him, and then I'd finish 4 by myself. And the 8 in the middle would just go by so fast because we're just talking, right? Or even if we're not talking, sometimes we get into a place where we're both pushing each other and in flow state. But it's just I got to keep up with him. He's got to keep up with me,
right?
Even though it was more him keeping up with me.
Oh,
he'll say that same thing, bro. He'll say the same thing. But running with people and doing things with other people, it just helps. It just helps.
Yeah.
So you should check that out. Run clubs, things like that. Those are great. I don't know how many are close to us, but yeah.
So I've really never run with people.
Yeah.
So I think this new experience is going to be kind of cool. Yeah, I think it's going to be a cool time. You got to make sure you keep your pace. Don't try to sprint too early at the gate or whatever.
And this one's supposed to be a really nice scenery half. You finish up.
Yeah, no, I was talking to one of my guys. Shout out Michael. Yeah. He was telling me you can really see the city in the first half.
Yeah. So. That's the one we want to do. The city half is not as cool because running through the city.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of sort of gratitude and being thankful to have your body and doing things no matter how you look or feel, right? Yes. You saw someone yesterday. We were at the grocery store, and this person was definitely not in the best shape. He was a little overweight. He'd tell you that.
Yeah.
But he was locking in. He had headphones on, and he was running, right?
Yep.
I think sometimes when people who are not in the best shape, they think people are always making fun of them, right? In those situations. And Cam said something great when we were both walking, and I was thinking the same thing. It was super funny, actually, because we both see him run by us, and we both start nodding, not even knowing the other people are not. We're hyped up for this right now.
Yeah.
And you know what? And he was just you'll never see someone who has a better physique than you or who is knows what you're training for ever make fun of you.
Never.
No matter about how you look, it doesn't matter. We were both let's go.
Yeah.
This is sick.
Yes.
I love this.
Yes, you're making a change.
You're making a change.
How could I ever be upset? How
Never.
could anybody be upset?
Never.
One of the biggest things that a quote that I saw and a mentality that we're trying to embody is you should be working on yourself so much that you literally don't have time to criticize or critique other people. Because that's not even important.
Not even important.
It's never been important. And so it's just something to pay attention to. If you see yourself or you see other people critiquing like a little too much, hey, maybe it's time to like work on yourself a little bit more and upgrade yourself because there's no need for that.
You'll never find a hater doing better than you.
It's true. It's true.
You'll never find people who are also doing better than you. You'll never find a business owner make fun of someone for starting a business.
No.
You'll never find a content creator who's done pretty well for themselves.
Never.
You think Mr. Beast is making fun of someone for starting content?
No.
Right? You're starting content yourself, right? The people in high school who you're scared who are going to see that, like if they're making fun of you,
bro,
it says so
much more
like,
about them than
the people who have the brand deals, the people who are doing the things, who are making money off their personal brand would never make fun of you for starting.
Never.
We're never making fun of that person who looked like he probably was just starting his running journey.
Yeah.
We're never going to make fun of that.
No.
We're going to love that and embrace that because we know that it takes courage to do that.
It takes courage. It takes effort. It takes consistency.
And it takes just being actually deciding that you're going to make a change in your life, which in fact, a lot of people sometimes never, ever get to that point. They get to the end of their life and they don't even realize that if they had just been like, I knew I need to make this change. They had it in the back of their mind. They never made the change. And because change is scary. And
that's a sobering thought.
Yeah. Like because to get to the end.
Life is so short and small decisions that you may think are small can impact your life significantly.
Yeah.
And making that change early on in your life, like we're all in our 20s, making that change is significant. And we always talk about it, but it really compounds over time. If you make that change, whatever the change may be,
or just even decide to make that's what it is.
Just put one foot in front of the other and see what happens.
Because remember,
it's not
that's what we were saying. When you decide to make a change, you decide to do something different. It's like what we were saying. When you decide to make a change, you make that decision, but then, like we mentioned before, detach from the outcome. You know you're making a change, and you know it's not going to go great every single day when you're making that change. But if you detach yourself from outcomes of every day and stick yourself into the process going forward, something will change. Yep. And you'll get to the point where things will change, and then it'll start becoming an avalanche, right? It feels like nothing. It's like that. There's so many graphs. I know there's not many visual learners here, but it's like a graph where like you're stagnant doing nothing and nothing's happening.
Exponential graph.
And then you go, exactly. And then it's like, whoa, I'm getting this, I'm getting that, I'm doing all of this is happening at once.
Yes.
But nothing was happening for 6 months.
Yes.
But then now all of this is happening. But you know the only way that can happen is by detaching yourself from the outcome and going forward.
Yep.
That's how you make a change, and that's how you become the best version of yourself.
You said something great, which was that change will happen. It will happen. I know we all start to think like, okay, what happens if let's say you're on a weight loss journey. What happens if I keep doing it and then nothing's going to happen and I'm in an even worse spot than before? Change will happen if you stay consistent.
Yep.
It will. It will. Consistency, detaching yourself from the outcome, enjoying the process, enjoying the journey, living in the journey. Mm-hmm. That's how you reach success.
And finding the right people to go on that journey with.
That's
finding the right people to run with.
Yeah.
Makes running go faster.
Talk to.
Finding the right amount of people to surround yourself with to make that change go faster. And knowing that the people you want to become would never, ever make fun of you for doing what you're doing. Yes. The people you want to be in the future would be the people who are uplifting you in your running journey, in your career journey, in your school journey, anything. The people who you want to be are going to be the ones supporting you.
Yes.
So you should never worry about being made fun of for doing something. Because if those people are making fun of you, they are never your friends in the first place.
That says so much more about them than it says about you.
Exactly. They're just scared. Or they're upset that they can't do what you do.
Exactly. It's crazy until it works.
And then they ask you, how did you do it?
Yep.
That's the crazy part.
Yep.
Well, how did you do it?
Yeah.
What do you mean, how did you do it?
Yeah.
You were the one who was making fun of me for posting that. You would probably send that to the group chat.
Yep. I remember Michael B. Jordan. Shout out MBJ.
Yeah.
The real Michael Jordan. Michael B. Jordan was in an interview. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have seen this. Actually, the interviewer was one of his former classmates who was making fun of him for being corny.
Yep. Wow.
When they were in like high school or junior high or whatever. And he said, "Yeah, you remember me? I'm the corny kid, right?"
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I know that story.
And he's not smiling. It's like, "Yeah, I'm the corny kid." She's like, "No, you're not. No. Guess what? Guess what? Look at where they are now.
Crazy until it works.
It's crazy until it works, and they ask you how you did it.
Yeah.
Literally, she was asking him how he did it.
Ugh.
Man,
Ugh.
man,
Shout out Sinners. Great movie.
great movie.
Great acting.
Speaking of great acting, and speaking of a sinner, Coach Mark Dagnow.
Woo, boy.
Dagnow?
I don't even know. I think it's
Dagnow.
Dagnault.
No, but it's French.
But like some people say Dagnault.
Yeah, that's me the right. It's like it's not Hublot. It's Hublot.
But I feel like he would be someone too. He's like kind of weird where he would just like let anybody call them whatever it is. Like,
or he would be really strict about what did you call me?
Well, that's Michael Malone. But have you met someone who's been like
Michael Malone?
who's been like, yeah, I don't care what you call me. Like, no.
What's your name, bro? What's your name?
Like, just tell me how you'd like it to be pronounced. Like,
yes. I don't.
You
can call you. No, bro.
No, you can call me Christ. Like,
lock it.
That's not my name.
Yeah, Cram.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of though,
yes, acting.
That is, like, I think from the beginning of the game, we talked about this. Yep. Richard Jefferson and a lot of the podcasts I was listening to just talked about how the Thunder changing their starting lineup in game 1 of the NBA Finals as the #1 seed and the home team, it just showed weakness already, right?
It showed doubt. And
showed doubt.
Here's the one thing though, not to be a Monday morning, like I think we're all kind of being Monday morning quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Because if the Thunder won by 15, everybody,
works. Yep.
Oh my God, what a great coaching move.
Like they went for the kill, like automatically.
Right.
It's true. Yep.
So, I mean, obviously, when you lose a game you're not supposed to lose, people are going to point at the coach. That's just kind of how we talked about. The coaches lose games, the players win them.
Yep.
So him making that move now because they lost, looks like a terrible move.
Yeah, it looks like a desperation move when there's no desperation needed.
The best team, they got to adjust to you.
They got to adjust to you, and it goes back to me thinking about, teams. We've seen this a lot in times where sometimes you have a center that you don't really want to play too much, but he starts, right? Yes. I think about JaVale McGee on that Lakers 2020 team.
Bubble,
right?
yeah.
He would just play his first 4 minutes. 4 minutes to start the first part of the game, 4 minutes to start the game, and then 4 minutes to start the second half. That was it.
That was it.
But that was just the starting lineup because it was their flow.
Yes.
Because
we're not going to change it now.
Imagine going into the huddle before a game, or even into the locker room being like, hey, we're going to start Case and Wallace today instead of Hartenstein.
Yeah.
But with no real idea, right?
Yeah.
You could start Hartenstein and just play more of Case and Wallace and less of the two bigs, and that would just be better for the player's psyche.
Yes.
When you're thinking, why do we have to change? We're already scared of what Indiana's going to do, and they haven't even done anything.
Yeah, it shows weakness, especially you expect to see that for the other team, not the team that's 80-12 or whatever,
18,
80-18 all year. Like they've been dominant. I mean, they have the most 30-point wins in playoff history, I'm pretty sure.
And it's not even the finals
It's not even the finals. They've been dominant.
Yep.
You don't change that.
No.
It doesn't matter, what, at least not for game 1, right? Because, game 1 is I'm going to give you my team, you're going to give me your team. Let's see what happens. Then we can make some adjustments.
Exactly. Game 1 Braun.
Yeah, we have game 1 Braun.
Feel out game.
Feel out. I mean, we saw Lakers do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the best idea, but game 5, the Lakers didn't play Jackson Hayes because they thought that would just give him a more favorable matchup. It didn't, and that's why they're all in Cancun right now. But it was at least an adjustment made later off. Same thing with the Knicks with Josh Hart.
Yeah, exactly. Right towards the end. It might have been even too late in the Knicks case, but who knows, right?
As it's just game 1, it looks weak.
Put all your cards on the table, or put all your base cards on the table. Let's see how we play in base matchups, like NFL.
Yes.
Let's just play base defense and let's see what happens. And then, the second quarter, the third quarter, game 2, game 3, game 4 is when you start bringing out adjustments, right? Because think about how many adjustments the Pacers have. They're just playing regular right now. And the Thunder already used their, quote, 1 adjustment so far. They probably have a ton more, but
for sure.
They used it, right? And, what do you think about, how Shea played? I didn't love how he played.
I didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
I don't care how many points he had. It was another weird Shea game. He's had good games where, obviously he scores a lot, but he had some, I remember it was game 4 against the T-Wolves in Minnesota. Huge game. He had 49 and 10.
Yeah.
And you felt it. Every time the T-Wolves would go on a low run, because it was in Minnesota, he would stop it with a bucket.
or an assist.
Or an assist. Right?
Great pass off that double. Looked into Chet on the roll. It was great.
Exactly. Like I feel like that kept happening. I was like, oh, this is a great Shea game.
Yep.
Nah, dude. Game 1, he just kept taking shots, and look, he was making a lot of them. To be fair to him,
Yeah.
But he kept taking shots. The offense was so stagnant. They were watching him, and when Shea takes this many shots, J-Dub.
Yep.
Nowhere to be found. Chet barely played. Nowhere to be found.
23 minutes.
And like then you're hoping like Lou Dort hit 5 threes.
You should win that. Yeah.
That's not gonna happen again.
Yeah.
Like,
5 threes and 4 steals. I think.
Yeah.
Like you should win that game.
He played great.
Easily.
He had like 6 rebounds in the first quarter.
Yeah.
He had Lou Dort played a great game. He's not gonna do that again. Yeah. And I'm not saying that J-Dub's gonna be bad again, but Shea has to allow them to be great. Yeah. That's the one thing about your star player. He has to allow other players to be great.
That's the burden of a star.
Yeah,
that's why it's so tough, right? To be a star, because you got to also make sure you do your stuff.
Of course,
you put up your 30.
Yeah,
but also you got to make sure everybody else is ready to go.
It sucks because I mean, when you go to the media after you get your interviews, and let's say you let everybody else cook and you didn't, they're like, "What happened to you? What happened to you?"
Yep, and then you have a Shea.
And, I love Joe Mazzulla, the Celtics coach, said this one time. He was getting interviewed. And the interviewer asked him, he said, "Is it troublesome that Jason Tatum has to deal with all the media pressure?" And he corrected the interview and he said, "Gets to."
Yep.
It's a privilege.
Yeah.
So the one thing about being a star, obviously, you do have to deal with a lot. Of
course.
A lot.
Star quarterbacks all the time.
But it's a privilege. It's an honor. And so
that could be another podcast. The pressure is the privilege.
Pressure is a privilege.
Hey, keep notes for that for next week. Whenever we do it.
Yeah, it is a privilege. It sucks, but it's good.
You get paid the most.
Yeah.
You get to do all this stuff, right? And
I
think that's really important. Yep. And I think I agree with you on the Shea part. I think he was taking too many shots, like too many kill shots, too many shots where he was like, "Let me just take a pull-up dagger 3 here. I don't really need that."
No.
Get into the offense, right? And again, when you can put up 38 points, but if your second leading scorer, I think, was Dort, right?
Probably.
Like, Dort should not be your second leading scorer.
Maybe even Hartenstein off the bench.
It shouldn't, that's not how it should be. No. There needs to be more balance. Like, you got to be putting up 30, but you got to at least have 6 to 8 assists to make sure you're setting up the rest of the team.
Agreed.
It became a lot of stagnant type of like James Harden. Let me just watch him go. And he took a lot of shots, right? I think I don't know how many shots he took. He had 38 points, but it was at least 30 shots, right?
So
he took 18 shots in the first half.
Yes.
Like, he just felt like that's not normally how he goes. No. Right? Like, he felt like he was just taking more shots than he had to.
Like, he wasn't confident in the rest of his team. Yeah. I know that's not how he feels, but that's
what it came off.
That's how it goes sometimes. But like, kind of getting to the Pacers, I didn't love what they did at all.
Yeah.
Until maybe the middle of the fourth quarter.
It felt like an AAU game where they were going up against better a ranked team, and they were just throwing the ball. It's like they were scared to have the ball, throwing bad passes. Like, it made no sense. It looked like they were kind of drunk.
It was like a 7 a.m. game. They were tired or something. It was like, I was like, and also, to be fair, the Thunder defense is
of course
insane.
Yep.
But you drive the ball, Caruso's coming from the weak side corner. That ball's gone.
Yeah,
you lost it.
And you can't
skip pass and go. No, it's not gonna get.
It's like Randall. You can't. You think you're just gonna get in there and
come on,
and have the ball so loose.
Come on.
But it's also true too. Like, Tyrese Halliburton said it. And I always find this so fascinating, and I've probably mentioned this before. It's like NBA players get nervous. People get nervous just like everybody else.
Yes.
If you're 10 years old, nervous before your first basketball game, listen, NBA players are nervous for their finals.
The greats.
Tyrese said we were all nervous.
Yeah, he said I was nervous the entire first half.
Right? Like, so all that stuff, people still feel it. Human beings feel it. Even if you're in the NBA, even if you're a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, you're still a human down there.
Yes.
And that is so fascinating to me. You're like, oh, they play basketball all the time. Like, they can't be nervous.
It's almost refreshing.
Yeah,
because you look like these guys are heroes or superheroes. Yeah. How do they do these things? And some of the things they do, the athleticism that they have, the skills that they have, it is unfathomable. Yep. But they're still human beings. They tie their shoes exactly like we do.
So coaches always say, that's the number one thing.
Classic coach.
That's the number one thing that coaches say when you know you're supposed to lose, right? When you're going up against, we would always play this team. It's called Sierra Canyon. We'd always have all these NBA players, right? And
wait, which NBA players did you play against in high school?
Well, me, a good amount. I know I played against Marvin Bagley.
Yeah.
I played against Zaire Williams, Bronny. We played against the Ball brothers. They didn't play because we were that bad, right? They were like, we don't even need to worry ourselves about this.
It's still lost by what, 4?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what it was. Yeah, we play Eli Scott, Okongwu, who's on the Hawks right now. a lot of other guys. But we go up against Sierra Canyon, who has like a slew of either NBA players or high major D1 talent, and we have no real high major D1 talent. Like, I mean, I didn't. Yeah, exactly. So
not since Aaron Holiday.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then like what our coach always says, is, hey, they got to put on their pants just like everybody else. Like they're human, and like I mean that is true, but. Come on now. Yeah. Like, we have no chance.
Man,
right?
their pants are a lot bigger than mine, coach.
Exactly. If you want to go see some highlights, again, Jack Herman, I'm sorry, brother. Go search up Campbell Hall versus Sierra Canyon. I think it was 2018 on YouTube, the home game. Yeah. Actually, it's legit a massacre. It's a massacre. It was like also like a 10 a.m.
Yeah, dude, that was Scottie Pippen Jr.
Yeah, Scottie Pippen Jr. Yeah.
Cody Riley, Cassius Stanley.
Yep, yeah, Kenny Martin Jr.
KJ, yeah.
Oh, I love Cassius. Yeah, Cassius is my guy.
Yeah, it'd be crazy. I mean, you ever played? This is just a random Sunday.
Random Saturday morning.
Saturday.
It was supposed to be like Tuesday at 7 p.m. and they switched it to like Saturday at 10 so that no one could see the massacre that was going to happen.
Terrible.
But yeah, go watch that. But that's kind of like the whole thing. That's what coaches always say about teams that are like you perceive them to be gods, right? Yeah. And you perceive NBA players to be gods, right? I mean, we even made a video that we thought Tyrese Halliburton was God.
He still might be.
Yeah, but like they still get nervous too, right? Even if they feel like they're like higher power, which Tyrese Halliburton might be.
Woo! Can we talk about that?
I don't even want to. I don't even know. I can't even.
Not once. Not twice. Not even 3 times.
Not 4, not 5, not 6.
They
only ended up winning 2, by the way.
It's fine. 2 out of 4. It's pretty good. 50% clip.
Yeah.
Either way, Tyrese Halliburton is the most clutch player I've ever seen, and I feel comfortable saying that.
On the most clutch run, I think most people have ever seen in their lives.
Yes, he's on a. I don't want to call it a Dirk run because I think Dirk shouldered a little bit more than Tyrese did.
Yeah, definitely.
But it is a close to Dirk type of run. It is getting ridiculous at this point. I've never seen somebody. I mean, and another thing, he had 12 points going into the last shot. He didn't care.
No, he didn't care.
It didn't matter to him.
Yeah, he wasn't even playing well.
He was going to take that shot.
Yeah.
And guess what? It was going to go in.
And I love this. Rick Carlisle, it shows you when a coach is like really in tune with his team, this is how you know it. Like, he knew exactly what was going to happen. I'm not calling a timeout. All of us are yelling.
Yeah, timeout.
Like, we get it. There's points where, like, okay, go, go, go. But when you said it, when Obi Toppin had the ball in the backcourt and they weren't really moving, we're like, call a timeout.
The last thing I want is Obi Toppin with the ball in the backcourt with less than 6 seconds.
He's going to throw it. He's going to throw it to the rim.
He's going to shoot it.
Exactly.
Timeout. Get it out of his hands. Hey, fair to him. He found Tyrese. Tyrese came to the ball. He had a little cross match because it should have been Lou Dort on him. He had Case and Wallace on him.
Still a great favorite matchup though.
Yeah, he's still a great defender.
Easily.
But man, I was like timeout, and I guess Rick Carlisle saw something that we didn't. That's why he's getting paid the big bucks, and we're over here
just talking about it.
Yeah,
but that shows you like when you're really in tune with your team.
Yes,
Rick has been making great calls all playoffs.
Yes,
just sticking with what he knows and knowing that I'm gonna live or die with this group. And a great coach, this is what will happen. He'll always prepare you. I guarantee you they practice that situation. Guys, I'm telling you this, I'm only calling a timeout if it's a dire situation. So play. Like, play this as if I'm not calling a timeout and figure it out. That's what I love. And this is insanely great coaching. And it goes back to me about like being prepared as a coach. We're not going to talk too much about football, but that shows you the difference. When the Chiefs are playing the 49ers in the Super Bowl, and it's the first time a Super Bowl game goes to OT with the new overtime rules, which in the past, in overtime, the person who got the ball first, if they scored a touchdown, right, it was automatic, the game was over.
Game was done.
If they scored a field goal, the other team got an opportunity to possess the ball again, right? But in the Super Bowl, obviously, you don't want it to end on kind of like a sudden death coin toss situation. So both teams get to possess the ball.
The Josh Allen rule.
Yeah, how many rules does he have?
Oh, man.
We'll get into football later. But yeah, so both teams get to possess the ball regardless if they score a touchdown and even get a 2-point conversion. Like, it doesn't matter. Both teams get to touch the ball. So that's what you need to know about this situation. And Cam, what kind of happened from there?
Oh, disgusting. I'm not even a Niners fan, but I'm just more disgusted. If I was a fan, I'd be so disgusted.
Yep.
So I love the Super Bowl because it's mic'd up
everywhere.
So all the players have mics. You
Yep.
can actually hear their in-depth conversations, which is fantastic. I fully recommend everybody watch Super Bowl mic'd up. But you could hear there was a lot of confusion on the San Francisco sideline.
Yep.
They were like, oh, wait, we got to get the ball first because we got to score, and then the game's over, right?
Yep.
It's done. And they're like, okay, yeah, we get to get the ball. And then randomly, like a coach comes over, is like, no, both teams get it.
Yep.
And then people, they're fighting, they're arguing. Either way, it's a lot of discourse that's going on this side. And then you look at the Chiefs sideline, like, we practiced this. We prepared this.
From the beginning of the season.
We know exactly what we're going to do.
Yep.
If we get the ball first, we're going to score and we're going to go for 2.
Yep.
If they get the ball first, they're going to, and if they score a touchdown, we're going to score and go for 2.
Either way.
They knew what the situation was. They were prepared, and therefore they were more successful.
That's why they won the game.
Thank you.
Disgusting. And sometimes it's crazy, right? You don't realize that. Like the team wasn't prepared. Whoever was the captain, I think it was Juszczyk, right? He goes out there, he's like, I guess we're gonna take the ball because that's what I thought.
Because that's how it used to be.
Yep.
No preparation.
You interview Mahomes, Andy Reid after, they're like, and Kelsey, we practice this from training camp.
Yes.
We had a rules expert come in and tell us all the new rules. So we knew exactly what we were doing if the game goes into overtime.
Yes.
Right? You would never think a Super Bowl game is going into overtime. It's probably like, that is so far down.
It is very rare.
Like, that's very rare that's gonna happen. Yeah. But it does. And the reason why they're great, the reason why they won and they continue to win is because of those moments. And you can hate on them. We definitely started to stop rooting for the Chiefs. I remember against the Patriots, everyone would root for the Chiefs, and now look, they became exactly what the Patriots were.
In 2019.
The reason why the Patriots won too, always prepared.
Yes.
Always prepared.
Yes.
Brady will say it. Bill Belichick was more prepared than anyone, at least back then. I don't know about what's going on now, which we'll talk about later.
Dude.
But that is the difference, and that goes back to Rick Carlisle.
Yes.
Always being prepared. They knew exactly what they were going to do at that moment.
Failing to prepare
is preparing to fail.
Every time. It rings true. It doesn't have to be sports. It's life. We talked about the Osama bin Laden mission. Yep. They were prepared for everything.
Everything.
Something
that literally had 0.001% chance of happening.
They were prepared for it. Man.
Because it might happen. And then, guess what? In that mission, something happened that they didn't even prepare for. Like, how is that possible?
But they were still ready. Yep. Because they had a plan A, B, C, D, E, all the way
down, probably like multiple past Z.
BX.
Yeah, BX. Exactly.
Yeah, so, you know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
Either way, I know we're coming to an end in this episode. Do want to get your prediction for this Thunder Pacers game 2. Yeah. What do you think's going to happen?
Yeah.
What are you looking at?
Yeah, I think probably most of you think the same thing. I think the Thunder are going to pretty much control this game throughout. I think this is a desperation game for them, right? It's kind of like the Minnesota Thunder series game 3. It's like if you're down 2-0, if you don't come out and win by 20, like if you don't come out firing, at least up like 20-5 or 17-7 real quick. The thing I would love when coaches say is like make them call the first time out. Like Indiana should be calling the first time out. If they're not calling the first time out, I think there might be a problem.
Also, I remember when you first said that like a few years ago. I've been paying attention to it. Pay attention to who calls the first time out. It always tells you what you need to know.
Especially in college.
Because especially in college. Because, there's a game script, right? Yeah. You're like, okay, maybe this will happen, that'll happen. If something happens outside the script, the coach is like, okay, hold on, we got to stop this. We got to regroup. So that's always a big deal. Whoever calls the first time out is like the first to notice that their team
takes the first punch.
Who their team is deviating from whatever they're supposed to be doing.
Yep.
So I definitely agree with that. We saw the Pacers in game 2 in last series against the Knicks. They kind of came out firing.
Exactly.
And
that's when you kind of your eyes were up.
Yeah, if you're a Knicks fan, you're like, okay, we just barely we should have absolutely won game 1.
Yep.
Now game 2, we're not hungry, we're not feeling it. That's always a scary thing to see as a fan of that team. So if I'm a Thunder fan, I'm absolutely keyed in on them going on an early run and sustaining that lead throughout the rest of the game. Therefore, I have the Pacers losing game 2, Thunder winning by a lot. I do think that at the end of the day, the Pacers will be happy that they split the series because all they have to do now is protect home court. But yeah, they are not winning this game. I would be extremely
That would be extremely shocked. We might have to do an emergency pod.
We might have to. Yeah.
But I think we're both feeling safe that it would be a 1-1 series going back to the Pacers. The Thunder should not, if they want to win the chip, they cannot lose this game.
And they can't win by a little bit either.
Yeah.
This has to be
alarms off if they don't really have a good game.
No, I remember you said this in the middle of the fourth quarter. You asked me when the game was a little bit tighter, but it looked like the Thunder were still going to win. You're like, does this mean anything? Does this win? Even though the Thunder win, does it mean anything for the Pacers?
Close.
And I said it does mean something because they should be winning. I mean, I've never seen finals odds like that.
Yeah.
Like it's so unproportionately matched, unevenly matched. I've never seen anything like that. And the fact that it was that close says something, and they even lost game.
That close with 24 turnovers,
So,
20 in the first half, right?
So,
like, it shouldn't have been that close.
Indy is going to be happy with a 1-1 tie going back to their home court.
Take a split.
And it's going to be rowdy.
In, what is it called?
Fieldhouse?
Something Fieldhouse.
Some Fieldhouse.
Gainbridge.
Yeah.
Bridge or whatever. Something like that. But yeah, excited for this week. I think, so game 3 is on Wednesday, game 4 is on Friday. And I think game 5 is on Monday. So
wow, they're pushing it.
They push it. They like to push it. So at least we'll have some things to talk about. Well, at least the series should not be over. But
you never know.
You never know, like, what might happen. That would be the craziest thing ever.
Yeah. So just to wrap it up for challenge of the week, figure out the outcome that you need to detach yourself from.
Mm-hmm.
The goal that you're going for, detach yourself from the outcome and just embrace the journey a little bit more.
Yep. Figure out what that is. It could be anything. And it could be something as small as just like, hey, I want to watch less TV, or like something as large as, hey, I want to, go back to law school or something like that.
And so if, just appreciate the silence.
Yep. Appreciate the everyday things of life and appreciate that it's going to be up and down.
And it's going to be okay.
With that, we'll be signing off for this week's episode.
SimmBros Pod.
See y'all next week.
Stay locked.